go. Now it's very light. Nee. Let me make it a little bit darker. Better. Everything is recording at this stage. What? Can you see again? They start. Choose the correct word from the brackets. Please rewrite the whole word. When it's these small things, write full out. Okay. So, they say, who get earnings by shareholders as a return? The shareholders, no, it would be dividends. Ne? Dividends is your earnings that you get back. A decrease in debtors indicate a cash. So if debtors go down, it means they didn't pay me. Ne? They bought more on credit, so it's a outflow. Inflow. Oh my word. Oh yes, if debtors go down, they paid me. So it's an inflow. I'm so glad you are clever. You must have had a good teacher. Interest expense is a financing. Always remember, interest goes with finance. Okay, it's a financing cost. Okay, Mayan Tech. The information below relates to the financial year ending 31st May. This was a weird year, ne? Because we're so used to February and June. The business buys and sells technology products. Prepare the ordinary share capital note. Now, once again, nothing is just straightforward with this guy. So, but what do I know? My format does not change. If I go look at the share capital, and he always, and this is what I appreciate of him, he always gives me headings. So I know exactly where to go look for the info. Okay, use these headings. So, share capital. They give me additional shares, ne? And then repurchase. So I know it's ordinary, new, repurchase. You got your format. If I go look at my extracts, they give me the opening and the closing, and it's already printed. So, they say, additional shares were issued during the year. On 1st September, what is 1st September? 800,000 shares were in issue. Okay, where did they tell me how much shares were in issue at the start? This was that weird one. In the note they say only 500,000 shares were in issue at the start. Now they tell you after the 1st of September I have 800,000 in issue. Meaning already 500 was there, so I issued a further 300. Can you see how he worded it? Did you lose your body? Okay, and now Mary is blocking you. He's like a head in the crowd. Okay, now they say, so I got this and I got this. Then they say on 30 April, that's the end of the year. Ne? No, it's not. Yeah, on 31st May, 705 were in issue. So that was given. Okay, so you can have 1, 2, 3 marks, reverse 5 marks. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 marks. Sorry. They the average price amounted to 85% of the repurchase price. These shares qualify for final dividends. Okay, so what do they say? What is my repurchase price? That does not matter now. What we need to know is what is the average price. And how do I calculate the average price? is I will take, oh, but I don't have this one. Oh my goodness, it's one of those again. Okay, can you see your average? If you look at the repurchase, here it happens. Can you see there's nothing between the end and the repurchase? Meaning by saying that one which was given divided by that one which was given, you can get the average. You see? So 95 times 10 gives me that in brackets. And then I just reverse calculate the 3 million. Is there anybody who still struggles with the reverse calculations? Remember, you start with the answer. And everything after that, you change signs. So it would be plus, minus, equals. Okay. Can you see why I want you to rework out this paper? Rework it. Because it's stuff you do know, but he worded and he placed it in different ways. So he is literally testing your understanding. He's testing if you went and exam trained or if you understand. So this is really a brilliant paper. Calculate tax. Most of you got this right. So I would do listen, once again, draw your T. Opening and a closing and a bank and income tax. Receivable and payable, receivable and payable. Okay? Now if I go look, Sash, both is receivables. So the opening would be debit receivable and the closing would be credit receivable. This debit here doesn't tell you which side it goes. It just tells you if it's a receivable or a payable. Okay, it doesn't tell you the sides. Okay. Then you work out. Dividends. So dividends, you have to get your opening plus your interim. Or you could have done a T account. No? But it's always easier the opening and the interim. So the opening is last year's final. So I go look shareholders for dividends. Last year's final was not given. Oh, the joy. Right. Plus this year's interim. Did they give me an interim? They give me, can you see? They basically, what they did is if I wanted to do the T, opening and a closing and a bank and a total dividends, they give me the closing, which is, remember your total dividends is the final plus the interim. Okay, so now how will I get the interim and the opening? So let's see. I know the start of the year I had 500,000 shares in issue, right? So they say a final dividend. This is for May, and this thing threw me as well. Okay, but what they say here, they give me last year. This is last year's info. Meaning, this is the info for the opening balances, right? So they tell me there, a final dividend was declared last year, right, of 22 cents. And they also told me I had 500,000 shares in issue. So can you see my opening would be the 500,000 shares times the 22 cents. And that's also what they got here. You see? Okay. Now I need the interim. So now they say interim dividends were not paid on 30 November 24. Oh, were paid, sorry. So interim were paid. I must go home. Okay. I must just go home. So interim dividends were paid, and then they gave me beautiful ratios here at the bottom, and they say dividends per share is 48 cents. So now you have to go and look how much of that 48 cents is interim. So you can do it one of two ways. You can say, oh, this dividends here is 48 cents, right? The total dividends. Or you can go and say, okay, that 224 was a final dividend on how many shares were in issue the end of the year? 750. But also remember, he said all the share qualifies for dividends, meaning the full 800,000 is going to get dividends. Everything up until the repurchase will get dividends. Okay? So, if I say 800,000, times x over 100, I will get 224. Okay? So if I solve x, I'm literally going to say 224 times 100 over 800,000. And that's going to give me how much? I think it's 28 cents. 28 cents. So, if 28 cents is final and the total is 48, it means the interim is 20. And that's how they took the 800 times 20 cents to get the 160. Another way you could have done it, is you could have said the 800 times 48 cents gives you the 384, the total dividends. 384. You see? Less the 224 gives you the 160. Okay, so both of these methods will be marked. So you'll get 1, a 2, a 3, 4, 5. Okay. You guys with me? Nothing just straightforward. Okay, but that one was easy. So you could have had 3 out of 5. Could have. Should have. Okay, financing. I just want to first of all applaud you, because for the first time in a very long time, they always do the financing and then people go and put in the investment, the fixed assets. I don't know why. So I am so thankful that you guys actually knew it was all about the shares. And once again, this share here, the 3 million, is the one that I calculated in my note. So whatever you got there, if you transferred it, you get your bagel. Okay? Repurchase. They said to me that we repurchase it. The average price is 85% of the repurchase price. So we must calculated the repurchase price as 10 rand 20. Okay? So the average is 85. So that 10.20 is 85. But I'm looking for 15, the above average. And now, if you guys want to cry about that, it's still fine, because it's a bagel if you have something right and you put it in brackets. Okay, so you took the repurchase shares, which is 95,000, times 12 rand. Okay, you could have said 15 over 85 to get the 180, or you could have said 1020 times 100 over 85, then you will get, what is it? then you get the 12 rand. Okay? Sharp, which is the repurchase price. The loan, once again, I do not know why it only counts 2 marks, because it was quite a long calculation. You had to use the debt equity ratio. They gave me the loan for last year, right? But you had to go calculate the loan for this year. So the loan to equity was given. So you solve the X to get the loan. I was quite surprised a few of you guys did get this one right, because we also had a similar one, I think, in the project. I'm not quite sure. Is there anybody who wants me to show them how to solve the X? Okay, so let's do the full one. I know if I have my ratio like this, the loan to equity, now I know the loan to equity, they gave me the ratio here, 0.621. So how did I get the 0.621? I got that through dividing both sides with 8950. So in other words, the loan divided 8950 to 8950 divided 8950 gave this side a 1, this side a 0.6. So now what they want you to see is that this is your equation. So in other words, I want to get the 8950 away. How will I get that away? By saying, so this is what I did. I made the loan a X. Divided 8950 is equal to 0.6. Right? Now I want the 8950 away, meaning I'm going to times with 8950 this side and this side. See? Because if I times it on this side with 8950, it's going to cancel. You see? And this one is going to stay. And that's how I get to that one. You guys get it? Anybody with a problem? And then I just need to get the difference. So the 5370 is this year's loan, and the 858 was last year's loan, so obviously I paid back. 2 or nothing. Okay, the net cash. Most of you got this right. Remember, you have to take the overdraft and the bank and the cash. Overdraft and cash. So in this case, there was no overdraft, there was only cash. In this case, there was an overdraft and cash. Most of you got this right, but then you have this one wrong. And it's because they do the blocks weird. Can you see the blocks is wrong, according to me? Because if we do the blocks according to the cash flow, it's actually like this. You see? You get it? So it's the 936 plus the 127 gives me the 106. I don't know why they do this. They always do it like this in papers, but this is different from the cash flow statement, because this is literally taken from the cash flow statement. Okay. So please just draw for yourself that block, that you remember I take this, reverse this. Okay. The directors identified options to refund 1.5 million needed to import new products and expand the business without increasing our risk, meaning we are not allowed, if they say without increasing risk, It means I can't do debt equity, which means I can't take out a loan. Okay. We'll go on tomorrow. Can I please have